Hey, it's Sammy for another episode of the IdOMUSIC podcast, and our goal and our mission is to empower and educate musicians and artists worldwide. And on today's episode, we sat down with Regional Promotions Manager at Columbia Records, Moses Davis, discussing sustaining in the music business for over 10 years, working his way up from the Mailroom, and pushing Lil Nas X's Old Town Road record. Hey, it's Sammy for another episode of the IdOMUSIC podcast, and I'm sitting next to the current Regional Promotions Manager at Columbia Records, Moses Davis. How are you?
I'm well. And yourself? Thank you for having me, first of all.
Of
Appreciate
course.
the opportunity.
Of course. I'm happy to have you. We talked about this at BET weekend when I met you.
For sure.
Officially.
Yeah, it's hard work. BET, I love it. It's a beautiful
What were you doing? What was you running around doing at BET?
I was in the radio room. If you work in radio, you know that's like the traffic jam of artists and reps working together to get in front of the country. You know what I mean? It's one opportunity that you have to put your artists in front of everybody, to not sell them always on the music, but to sell them on the artist's presence. You know what I mean? And just taking them from St. Louis to Georgia to Florida in this one room is really a quality experience for the artist and the label as well. So just working and putting my artists here and there.
Not as time consuming either as having to actually travel to those markets.
Yeah,
they're all in
definitely.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so for those that don't know Moses, he's been in the business for about 10 plus years.
For sure.
And you started actually with an opportunity as an intern at Warner Music.
Yes. And that was crazy. I really came from Chicago with the dream to rap.
Right. You wanted to be an artist.
I wanted to be a rapper so bad.
Why?
Is
that why you moved to Atlanta?
That's why I moved to Atlanta. I really wanted.
In 06, the era of crunk.
Listen, I was like, look, Atlanta is the place. I mean, I had spent so much time in Atlanta. I was in the military.
Oh, okay.
So I would come from North Carolina to Atlanta during the crunk time, and just the feeling I had never felt before. You know what I mean? And just this overwhelming blackness and being proud of being black and just a certain black culture. It wasn't like they were trying to be refined or clean themselves up to be mainstream black. It was like, nah, we throw bowls here. We get loud in here, but it was just so much love. And I just wanted to be a part of that. And so when I thought about my career, I didn't want to go to LA where you kind of like a raindrop in the ocean. You know what I mean? For you know it, I'm a waiter. And I'm telling you, like, look, I act. And I didn't want to get into that. And I felt like this was a smaller pool. And I saw that the love, if you had something hot in Atlanta, they was going to push you up. They were going to help you and help exalt you. I had never seen anything like that. Coming from, Chicago, I never really seen that type.
What were you seeing in Chicago?
Well, the Chicago, it's not cutthroat as much as it's a survival thing. And I want to show you, hey, I'm the man. You know what I mean? I can do it. I want you to see, hey, look at me. You know what I mean? So with everybody having that attitude, it's not so much let's help each other. So if you in your clique and they in that clique over there, it's not this collaborative thing like I was seeing in Atlanta.
Right.
It wasn't a big thing to see the biggest artists in Atlanta to get on the same record. Like, I'm going to tell you something. When I saw Twista and Kanye on the record, I was like, oh, shit, like, wow.
Right.
If you look back, you really didn't see these, like you had West Side rappers like Crucial Conflict and stuff like that. They would rap with West Side rappers. So you saw the Do or Die, the Twista. They didn't really do I didn't really see a lot of the collaborative thing. So when I came here, I was seeing how everybody was working with each other. I felt like this would be a better opportunity, and then they weren't really looking at Chicago for the music like that as much as they are now back then.
Gotcha. So moved to Atlanta in 06, got an opportunity.
Yeah.
So you came down here like straight in the studio?
Listen, nope.
What happened?
None of that. I came down here with $300 and a dream, right? I started working at Best Buy. The first 3 weeks I was here, I had all my clothes in the car. I just knew, I don't know what it was, I just knew that I was going to be successful in the music industry. I was going to figure it out, you know what I mean? When I came, by the grace of God, I had a buddy who was doing some interning for Amir Boyd, and then he went over to Rick Ross, who now runs Capitol. And he was getting more into his schooling, so he wasn't able to be there. So he was like, hey, it was a guy by the name of Kevin Weeks, rest in peace. He was like, Kevin need an intern. You could just come up there. I ain't promise you nothing. You could just come up there and help. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? He said, man, yeah, just be on time. I'm like, listen, what time I got to be there? He said, man, you got to be there at least 12. I was there like 11, 15. Like I wanted this. You know what I mean? I got that opportunity. I was in the mailroom going to get the coffee. What you need me to do?
And now let's talk about, because I don't know if that's still true to this day. Like, do people still start in the mailroom? Like, because
I don't think so, because it's really not. It's really not a lot of offices. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be in the mailroom. Essentially, I think there is another way to pay your dues. It's just the music industry is fragmented in the sense that there's a lot of more independents that are big. You could go and do that there. I don't know if you will be able to go to Warner in Atlanta because it's not the office anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
But maybe in New York, you could do it in LA. But for those, in between, I'm not sure if that opportunity specifically is
Exists.
there. But you're going to have to pay your dues. You know what I mean?
So talk about paying your dues, being in the mailroom. What were you doing?
Man.
What was that experience for you early on?
I never looked at it as work because it was like my dream was coming true. You know, I had to do mail outs. So this was around the time when CDs was very prevalent. So all of the southeastern radio stations, from Urban AC, Rhythmic, I mean, this could be 120 stations, and I'm sending out CDs every day for different reps at the time. So, you had Atlantic, you had Reprise, you had Warner Brothers Records, you had Asylum. It was just so many different parts. And I was responsible for making sure that I got the record to the program directors and the music directors when they were, coming from the A&R department. That was the responsibility of the rep to get it to them. But they had so much going on. I was just like, look, I'll mail it out. You know what I mean? And so that would just take hours and hours. But it gave me a lot of knowledge as to where things were. It was like, oh, that's where that is. Or, learning the call letters, learning the cities. And then you really get a little bit deeper as to how this city over this city is a lot more important of the marketing and stuff like that. So it was really grassroots.
Important in terms of selling the product.
Yeah, for sure.
What markets?
Okay, so you look at I didn't know Chicago was like the third largest market in the world or in the country. I didn't know that. But when you sitting this out, they would tell that to you, or when you shoot for a record, they start talking about audience and things like that. It's like, oh, okay. So you want to make an impact here because of this amount of people. It's this amount of people here that, as opposed to this place in Boise, Idaho, you know what I mean? It might not make the same impact. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But all important.
For sure. Everything is important.
So you got this opportunity at Warner Music, and then from there, you pretty much just started moving up.
Yeah, so they had fired the office.
Oh.
Okay, like it was tripped out. Like it was so weird. I was up there interning. I never went to like college or nothing. I just made myself an intern. I put it in my head like, look, y'all gonna have to put me out here. Like somebody gonna literally have to be.
Did you have to be in college, or you just finessed that? Like what was it?
Yeah, they said you had to be. But no. I was like, y'all let me in here. I'm like, y'all let me in here. I was helping.
What was it that you said that as long as you got a toe in the door?
A toe in the door. Like I live by the toe in the door. I'm not a foot in the door person. Just give me a toe. I'm gonna get my foot in there. You just give me a little bit, I'm gonna take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure. I forgot
how you excelled so quickly in the company.
Because I think I was just willing to do what people weren't. You know what I mean?
Like
so I give you an example. They had fired the office, essentially. When I started coming to the office, it was like 40 people. Full of people. You bumping into people. I'm walking around trying to help. Can I do your mail outs? Let me sit by you while you're on the computer. Let me see. And just this one day, it turned in like 13. So I'm like, yo. And one of the essential young ladies who would let me in, she was gone. I'm like, yo, oh no, what I'm gonna do? I just gonna keep going up there. I'm gonna keep going. And so when I came, one day I brought my mom. And I was like, Mom, one day I ain't gonna have to keep calling and having nobody buzz me and I'm gonna work here, That same day, it was a young lady by the name of Amanda. Shout out to Amanda. Amanda was like, hey, Moses, we were looking for you. We wanted to know if you wanted to just get a temporary position working in the mailroom. I'm looking like, what? Like, I work in the kitchen. What you want me to do? As long as I'm in the building,
Right.
So I took that opportunity. I was only supposed to be there 3 months. That turned into 4.5 years. You know what I mean? Because I was everywhere. I was willing to do what you wanted me to do, what you needed me to do. I had went through Warner's whole database. At the time, ringtones were prevalent. So they had this sheet they had these, I promise you, I never seen such small font in my life. Like, I'd never seen that. A to Z, they wanted me to go through the database it was Singular at the time, to match what Singular had in their database as ringtones to the sheet. So I had to go A to Z. I didn't care. It took me like 2 weeks, like, to really just go through each one to match to make sure all of it was in the sheet. Essentially, that made the company like an extra $1 million.
Oh, wow.
So those that showed me like, oh, okay. The details are really what runs the business.
Yeah, for sure.
So I took that and was like, look, I'm just going to watch and kind of anticipate the people around me. So I know that so-and-so likes his sound scan at this time, so I'm going to start printing it out. You know, I know so-and-so likes coffee at this time, so I'm just going to go get it. You know, they need a listening party put together. I'm just going to put it together.
Taking the initiative.
Just taking the initiative. And I think if I should give anybody advice in this game, initiative has gotten me so far because, you know, the game is it never stops. You really don't have time to teach, to essentially point to every direction you should go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have worked from marketing to promotions to artist relations to tour management,
Sure.
and the list goes on, right? Just like different facets of the industry. But as you were working as in the mailroom, what sorts of things were you learning that you were passionate about at that time, like to get you to these other mediums of music, the music business and the industry?
In the mailroom,
or just like being at Warner, like because initially you wanted to be the artist. So.
I think it's a good thing and a bad thing that happened to me. The hands-on approach of how the music industry worked became more of a thirst. What are these radio stations? Why are we sending them here? Why are we working with said mom and pop stores? And what is distribution? I became more curious about how the business operated as opposed to just wanting to be out in front. When I started learning, I was gone off the smoke and mirrors, essentially. Looking at these videos, you see these chains, these cars, these women, this. Yeah, I like that. I could be financially stable doing this, that, and the third. So that had me practicing, writing my rhymes, my stage presence, this, that, and the third. Then you get to the label and you see, oh man, he ain't even write that. You're like, wait, you know, it's like a 180. I always use this analogy and people laugh. It's almost like, you know, they say the end of the rainbow. It's almost like and it's supposed to be a pot of gold. It's almost like you got there, somebody had a wet glass. Like, oh shit, you thought it was some gold? That for myself, it kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to be in front as the artist. I saw how much they went through, and a lot of them weren't getting the return that the A&R was. That the longevity. I'm seeing promoters getting old. They growing gray hair, but this artist, he was hot for a summer. He out of here.
Right.
You know what I mean? It hurt me. I ran into somebody I know working at Five Guys. You know what I mean? And he trying to, goddamn it, look off like, boom, he don't see me. And it's like, man, I don't want that.
Yeah.
How do you sustain yourself in this game?
Right. That's the question.
Sure.
And that's really the question I have for you because, I mean, as an artist, obviously that's difficult, a little bit more difficult than being on the business side. But even on the business side, you know, people get fired and hired here.
You're going to get fired and hired, though. They just come with it.
You got fired?
For sure. I got laid off.
And what did you do?
Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Did you like go into the Rolodex? Did you like, what was your
For sure.
first,
That's how I wound up. That's essentially the relationships that I built in this industry helped me through that time period. Because right after that, I wound up as a road manager and tour manager for Adrian Marcel. Shout out to Yancey Richardson. He saw me like, bro, like, well, I know you're not doing that. Now your time free. You could come with my young boy, come on the road. I think he'll be, you know, with your experience and, you know, helping him showing the ropes, we'll be a strong team. So I was like, it's nothing. Let's do it, you know? And I really wanted to see that side of the game too. You know, I had been inside. You know, I never really got a chance to get out on the road as much as I would like to really feel the game, to know what it takes to put a show together, to know what it takes, man, to sleep on that floor and eat and get that per diem and all of that. I wanted to feel that, you know, because I don't want to be that person that is only one-sided. This music industry has so many parts, and I was always interested in all of the parts of the game because I want to be here. You know what I mean? So I think it's essential to learn everything. So
Definitely. So being the road manager, but prior to that, you were able to work on a few campaigns as well that I thought were cool, like the Kick Push campaign
For
with
sure.
Lupe Fiasco, working with Estelle to get her introduced to the business. That was around that time when she, what song was that she had?
American Boy?
American Boy, yeah.
sure.
We played that in band. I love that song.
yeah.
It's a good record. But they were pretty successful campaigns.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why were they successful?
Because we just took, the team that I was working with just took a different approach, and they actually believed in the project. You know, you work wonders in this game when the machine believes in it.
Right.
At one point, Lupe wasn't this Southeastern, you know, magnate. They thought it was like that's like nerd rap or some other shit, you know. But it was very profound in the sense that it was fresh, in the sense that people were gravitating to it at a rapid rate, you know. And I think by him not having as much visibility, it really just was like an out of sight, out of mind thing. So the team was like, look, how about we just come up with a campaign to where we just attack the Southeast. When you go and check out at a store, we're going to sit it right there. You know what I mean? Making that eye contact, making that impression, essentially makes you ask this question, like, who is this? Oh, well, I heard of this, you know? Then you have, you know, people selling it to them. You know, usually it's hard to just get the music in front of people. A lot of people didn't even know the record was out in the Southeast or this, that, and the third. So that campaign just really put a lot of paint where it wasn't. It just really made people see. And then for you knew it, it just gradually grew. And the same thing with Estelle. You know, for you knew it, it was like you couldn't stop hearing American Boy. At one point, you were begging people. Shout out to Cannon, you know, Cannon Kent from Atlantic Records. I was just in awe of how she would work so hard to get these records played when there wasn't any belief. But she had this belief and would go so hard at it, and it finally turned around. That's another thing that I learned, you know, persistence. So, you know, just these campaigns, the artists themselves, you know, seeing them go from nothing. I remember Flow Rider when we were the song Low. Like, I remember we was at Clark, Atlanta, and the man was like, yo, we got Flow Rider. And it was just like crickets. Like, nobody cared. And just to see this man go from that to a global superstar.
Yeah.
Like, yo.
Yeah.
Persistence.
Persistence.
You have to have some people believing in you as well. You know what I mean? So working on those campaigns taught me persistence, taught me that belief is essential to getting across anything that you're doing. Because you may not have people initially believing in you. And teamwork. You know, it wasn't just myself. Maybe I had to put the work in and mail out these things, call these people, ensure that they got it, and follow up, go to these stores. But these think tanks that I sat with such great minds to come up with this, to even be able to execute it, is essential as well.
Absolutely. The one thing that you talk about, or you've said throughout the interview, is persistence.
For sure.
And I think that's one thing that I've noticed with a lot of people who work in promotions and radio promotion specifically for the label, is that y'all be there every day or calling every day.
Got to do it.
You know what I mean? But like that's like I think a skill that you have to learn too if you're not just naturally a persistent person. But does it ever occur to you, like, I mean, I feel like you have to have like a genuine relationship with these people too. Like, you know that they have a family, you know, like different things about them. Does that help you with selling, essentially? Or how does it?
The more you know, the better, because you're dealing with individuals. And, you know, we're trying to get a job done. But at the same time, you're dealing with a person, like you said, who has those different factors. Family. They actually have a life in between and stuff.
Right. Whereas, I mean, when working at a label or like working with artists, it's kind of 24/7 anyways.
Listen, I can get a call right now. You know, I've been sitting on my couch, okay? And I got a call like, yo, you got to fly to Napa, California, like at 6 o'clock. And it's like 2. It's like, that's what you signed up for. That's what I think weeds people out. This game has a way of kind of seeing if you want to do it. Okay, it's gonna take you, like, you're gonna go through so many valleys and peaks. I had a young man that I mentor, and I met him years ago. He's like 17. He like almost 30 or something now. But anyway, I told him, I was like, man, I know you all about your dream, but it ain't tested you yet. Like, let me see you when it tests you. Like, when damn near this all you got. Like, when I got laid off, I didn't have this plan B. I had this. I had to make this work.
Yeah.
By all means. So like you said, go on that Rolodex, reaching out while maintaining your dignity, because you don't want to be that guy, you looking needy and funky out here. That tested me, but I overcame that. I still progressed from that because I, in my head, knew my end goal. My end goal is to continuously be successful in this game and to be able to provide opportunities for others behind me. I can't quit if I want to do that. Usually those tests pick the people. Look, you man, because I mean, I done slept on floors for this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you might have been the hottest artist out at the time. I'm on the road with this artist, and we ain't got no money, but we on this road. We looking like it's we gonna keep going though. I done drove across the country in a van. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Twice. I've done that. And I'm not mad about that, but I know how to move on the road now. I'm picking up these things that help me on those roads where I'm going to radio stations before I became in promotions. Now I know how to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's all the learning process. This game will test you. You're going to do you're going to get a lot of no's. You're going to eat a lot of shit. But if you want it, the other side is beautiful because there's nothing like, living your dream.
Absolutely. You were quoted saying it's imperative that we give back to the future of music.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially what you just said, your mission was we must provide guidance and platforms that allow them to accomplish their dreams and flourish. Mm-hmm. And that you've had the opportunity and would love to see the next young man or woman live out their dreams.
Yes.
Why do you stress giving back to the future of music? I mean, obviously your job, and we were talking about it off the record, it was just like what you're listening to right now, who you're listening to right now. Being like the younger artist, young rap, young hip hop or whatever. But why is that important for you to kind of like stay locked in too?
I'm from the south side of Chicago. I don't know if I said that.
You told me.
I never really had that.
Somebody.
Yeah, like you have people who, you got big homies, but we living in this. They teach you essentially how to survive in this. And I never really had that person go and do something that I was like, ooh, and they came back and made sure I was good with it in my neighborhood. For me, I had a conversation with a group. I'm from a neighborhood called Princeton Park. It was a bunch of little kids. We were sitting on just a school in our neighborhood called Drew School. We were sitting on Drew. And I was just talking to the youngest, and we was just chopping it up. Regular. I'm just listening to them, talking, just listening to them and listening to them and how they express themselves. Staying level, not trying to point. I talked to one of them a month ago. He like, bro, you remember when we was sitting on Drew, man? Bro, that was so practical. You was telling us, man, you could do this, that, and the third. That really set in with me. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
We from places where people are forgotten. Mm-hmm. We from places where you just a beacon for the place. You may not go back to see those people there. I still got family in Princeton Park. That's where I'm from.
Right.
I want to be a beacon of light for them. And I also want those behind me who coming up to be a beacon of light for them behind them.
Right.
And I think it's essential that we inspire one another. Mm-hmm. We can't look to this person over here and this person over here. So like I said, that was something I didn't have. I wanted to provide that.
Right.
I want people to have a platform to express themselves. I want people to, if you're an artist or you're a manager or you this, to have that confidence to look at me, a young man from the south side of Chicago, and see, man, Moses did it.
I can do it.
And I say, God don't play favorites. It's just about you believing that you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I look at a person doing something, I get motivated. Like, oh, well, that's just an indicator for me to see it so close that I can achieve.
Yeah.
So I want to be that for them as well. So when you look at me, I don't want you to look at me, oh, man, you here, you was at BT. Because where I'm from, that's crazy. Yo, you at BT? Yeah, you could be here too. Look at me like, yo, Moses did it. He from around here. I could do it.
Right. Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah, no, I love that feeling. I think that that's a special feeling to know that you're pouring into other people without, you're just being an example.
For sure.
When you don't really see that a lot growing up. I feel it. I think there are a lot of examples now, especially with so much access to like social media and stuff. You can have like an internet mentor or, you know what I mean? Like somebody you just look up and you're inspired by. Even me, like I know that there are people who watch this like, oh, wow, she's doing.
I've watched it. I definitely watch it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, it's so many young women and young people who look at it like, wow, like she's doing that.
For sure.
And you don't realize the impact and influence that you really have. But neither here nor there, I wanted to ask you about selling products, because essentially that's what you're doing. How to sell or market these artists. Are you able to even separate the business from, how we look at, for instance, I'll use Kanye as an example. How do we separate Kanye the person from my business with him or my love for his product, i.e. his music, or insert another artist here who's done some wild stuff on the internet, and then you're just like, but I do love this, but I don't know. And then also, it's a little dehumanizing as somebody who works in the business because, at the end of the day, you have to sell this product, period. So how do you sell in the face of and separating, I guess, personal morals or values from the business, and realizing that they're people, they're humans. Because you've worked on both sides. Like you've worked directly with it. You looking at me like, why would you answer?
No, I'm good. No, I'm good. I love it. I love the question.
Great.
I think it's cool.
Okay, so yeah, you've worked with Adrian Marcel, and then actually being on the road with him to having to go work with these roster of artists, Gucci to whoever, selling the product. So I'm always wondering, is that difficult for you? And then how do you go about selling?
It was. I'm going to tell you what was the most difficult part at one point. That was when I was a lot younger, starting in the game. Because of that love, that artistry part of me. Yo, why they talk about... No. This is entertainment. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's not hard for me to decipher the two. Mm. I look at it for what it is now.
Yeah.
Do I really think you shooting up the fucking house? I shoot your mama? No. I'm able to decipher.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it too serious.
Yeah.
Do I respect those artists who really put, you could tell a person is really putting their heart and soul into something that they want to be timeless and essentially something you listen to. And then you got some people who want to make money. I get both. There's room for both. I love music, so I'm able to put up with a lot more from it and stuff like that. But no longer am I getting upset about the type of records, because I get what you're trying to do. In this business where it's not so much success, I hate that people copy. You know what I'm saying? Just on the base level. Mm-hmm. But then, if you coming from a place, man, you barely eating, you don't know where your next meal coming from. You feel like you can make a song that sound like this and I could get somewhere, I understand that too. And if we took that approach, man, gotta be original. I'm with the originality. I love it. But how many computers is it? You know what I'm saying? It's Apple, Microsoft. Damn. They biting, right? HP, Acer, right? They saw opportunity. So we can't shit on the young man or the old man because he saw opportunity to essentially better himself. Because it's harder to start from scratch in this shit to be the first.
Right.
Because imagine trying to get the people to believe in you, then the radio. Like, you have people that just don't want to hear that shit. Like, bro, get out. You might be my cousin. I just don't want to hear that shit. Get out of here.
Right.
You got to fight through that. It takes a lot to fight through it. So I look at the game like this. When I mentor people or I sit down and consult with people, what are you trying to do? Let's do that. So that keep my emotions out of it. You let me know what you're trying to do. Look, I'm trying to mainstream. I'm trying to do Well, hey, I think it's essential that you go this route. Talk to these type of people. Be at these events, this, that, and the third. That's how we sell it. That's how we market it. Because the moment I get into it, like, bro, damn, bro, that sounds, I wouldn't like that. Like, nobody care what I like. Mm-hmm. In this big ass world with billions of people, something that I hate, somebody crying when they hear, I'm like, God, this is my song. You feel what I'm saying? For every one person that hated Lil Nas X, the shit diamond.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You had some hands in the success of that record.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
Promoting, get them to play it, man. Just getting them to believe that a black country.
How hard was that?
Oh my God, like Chinese arithmetic. Selling urban on a fucking cowboy. What is this shit? Was the running question.
Do you ever get frustrated? Because, I mean, obviously you've been in the game for some years, but you are talking to people who've been doing this, like a lot of program directors, I'm sure, for years. You know, they are like older. They don't give a shit about what you talking about, right? So is it like frustrating to just like have those conversations and convince people? Or, I mean, at this point, I'm sure you're used to it.
It used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be. But
you know, you feel, well, one is your job, but like you feel most times that like this is gonna be it.
No, just the thing though. You have to respect, like what you said. They've been in the business too.
Yeah.
There's some credence to what they saying. Like, just because I got this big strong belief, don't cut down what they saying.
Right.
And you got to make people believe us. This shit like the presidency, man. You got to kiss the babies. You got to get out here and work these records, man. You have to make people believe, especially when they have other records that they really like and they ear cut on to immediately.
How do you make people believe? Like
being on their ass.
Old Town Road.
Being on their ass. Calling them. Being where they at. You know what I'm saying? We in the streets. If I got a place where I could play it, I know he gonna be there, play this shit. Send them an email. Send them a text with the song playing it. Goofy ass text, and all of a sudden I wound up putting Lil Nas X in the sentence for some reason. Keeping it on their mind. Because look, Atlantic pitching records, Epic, you know what I mean? It's like everybody's trying to get their shit in them slides. How you do it, you stay on it. This is a contact sport. That's why it's not for everybody. People don't sleep doing this shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Cutting your phone off is vital. And it's like, oh, shit, you can miss out something very vital. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And those same programmers are dealing with everybody but you. So imagine this young person from Epic calling 10 times. I need to be trying to hit that 15. Or if he don't like the call, let me figure out a way. His personality, he don't like all these fucking calls. So let me figure out a way to get to him. Again, with this anticipation. Who's going to essentially be in my market, sit with me every day like, hey, Moses, no, you need to do this. Some shit you're going to have to bump your head on. Mm-hmm. You know? You send too much information. Look, you might have a program to tell you, look, I don't need all that shit. Learning experience. You might have to fucking stumble and fall. Don't be scared to fail. You know what I mean? And getting frustrated at this point, nah, because I get it.
How many times did you hear no before you heard yes?
A million. Fuck. I mean, they still telling me fucking no. It is. You know what I mean? Like, you go into the markets. Maybe that shit is booming in New York, but it's not in Macon. We don't listen to that shit that y'all listen to up top down here, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to make you believe it. So I got to show you the Shazam numbers. I got to let you know, look, they Shazamming this shit right next to you. How you telling me nobody like it?
Right.
They killing this shit right there. The sales, these bullet points. Man, that shit number one on iTunes. What do you mean? How could it not be?
But isn't that strange? Like, so, like, So in '06, when you moved down to Atlanta and didn't leave, thank you.
For sure.
He did not leave.
Why you leave Atlanta? Who leaves here? Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid.
That was a prime time to move to Atlanta.
For
so
sure.
you was already used.
And then I was here as it was building. Now I was here in 2000 going crazy.
True.
Oh my God. Go ahead.
Nah, you good.
I ain't gonna incriminate myself on it.
You good. So essentially what I was trying to ask is like in those times, radio is breaking records. Now it's like definitely changed. Like the record is already hot. And then you're trying to sell it to radio.
Yeah. Yeah, man, because
I'm like, you proven to somebody with Shazam numbers and iTunes #1, like it shouldn't really
those
be
are. But let me tell you this: that shit might not work. I don't look at Shazam.
True.
You got a PD. I don't look at that shit.
Yeah.
I go on my gut.
Right.
I'm just using this. I got these to sell. This is my toolbox. This is what I got. Look, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this to sell you over that record.
But is that not strange? Why would it be difficult if you have the
because look,
it
ain't a lot of slots. I was gonna put this Cardi B in there. I happen to like the Cardi record, so I'm gonna put that. Oh no, don't put that in there. Look, and let me sell you on why you shouldn't. It ain't a lot of slots there, so we gonna put they got a business to run. They need to get what them listeners are gonna tune in for,
right.
And get the maximum potential, however they get their return on investment. They want to put the best songs up there so they can get that.
Fact.
I understand that. But I got a job to do. You need to plug my shit in. And if you talk to any fucking rep, they're going to tell you the same thing. You need to put my shit in. Hey, you playing this? What? This is how I go. This shit, I think about like the stock market. They just be hollering. That's what, and put me in, though.
So, how have you seen being in the business for this amount of time? How have you seen the changes that either benefit you or some things that you may feel that are cons? Sometimes I don't really like the way this is moving with the music industry. But there are a lot of pros to what's happened since you probably started, but there's also some things that may be a little difficult to get to adjust to.
I guess I'd be cliche and say the artist development. And people getting so much so fast. You get these, man, your song blow up overnight. And it's like, boom, I'm popping. I'm doing these shows. The girls is DMing me. You feel me? Like, yo, when you go from this I didn't have to boom, they loving me. I mean, I'm the man of my city. Bah, bah, bah. But then you sign to this label. And it's like, man, I ain't doing none of that shit. I'm already popping. It's like, bro, do you want to do this shit for this year? Or you want to do it for the next 10 years? That's what fuck with me. Because it's a lot of cats. They not just young. I know they put this young title. It's a lot of people who don't understand the business.
Right.
That's frustrating with Google. It's so much out here. And I think Wendy Day put up something like, more rappers are concerned with being hot than
making money.
Right. Mm-hmm. But if you are, I'm trying to keep you hot. That's why we doing radio. That's why we here doing this interview. That's why we doing this. But you tired. You say, man, I ain't trying to do all this shit.
Yeah, you said sales, marketing, and promotion are the
lifeblood of this shit. Because all of your music has to come through that. It has to.
So it's a young artist listening to this right now. What is something they got the hottest record out? They know it's next to blow. Mm-hmm. What should they be thinking?
I think you should be thinking about your publishing. Number one, thinking about the business aspect of it. What are ISRC codes? What is sound exchange? How much is a stream worth? How many streams is equivalent to an album sale? Where can I maximize the potential for my music to be heard? What mediums could I bring into the game as well? What great marketing aspects I have? Instead of me going to the DJ or something with my CD, I got a jump drive, or I got this bottle of water right here and it got a QR code on it. Getting creative, because I don't want to use the oversaturated. It's just open. It's easy for you to get to. The music at this point, they say it's disposable, right? Because it's easy to do. You can record a song on your phone. You can sit in a car and record a song. You can be in the closet. Yeah. But if you're thinking about anything, how do I rise to the top in the midst of that? You gotta be creative. You gotta be persistent. And you gotta ask questions. You know, you gotta ask questions. And have a fucking goal. Like, yo, I want to be in the game. Nah. Where you trying to go? Because that'll help people help you. You get you a car, man, I'm just trying to drive. Well, shit, I can't tell you where to go. I can't give you no destination. Have a destination as well. Study your business. Ask questions, you know, and keep doing that. Even when you're successful, keep doing that. Keep studying this shit because it's steadily changing. So.
You got the keys. All right.
Wait,
were you a principal at a private school?
Never. No, what? I wish. No, that's just the name of my company.
Oh, okay, because I'm like, I definitely saw it on your LinkedIn.
Principal, yeah, that was another word for like CEO.
Got it.
And then it's called private school, so just a little play on words. I wish. No, I don't want nobody.
So what business? I mean, what company?
Well, that's just what I, when I do consulting.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
So you're open to consultations?
For sure.
For sure.
For sure. Listen, man, I want to see y'all win. Look at me. I want to see you win, man. I'm going to be hard on you, though. I don't pussy for anybody know me. No, I'm a straight shooter. I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to get into your shit ain't hot as much as I think you could do better than that. Or, hey, well, I don't like it. Well, it'll work over here. I'm willing to help. I'm open to helping. But I want you to want the help. I want you to receive. And I ain't got time to sit and talk with you all day. I got records to work.
Facts. Why is Moses the guy for the job? The job. It doesn't have to be specifically what job in relation to whatever.
It don't matter. I feel like I'm the man for the job because I possess a level of confidence and belief that I'm going to get it done, whatever that job is. And I'm not going to stop until it's complete. I'm a team player. You know what I mean? I think the team is essential to really getting a win. And I find myself more satisfied when we win together. Facts. Again, with me wanting to give back. Like, shout out to Adrian. As we would travel, and that was Adrian. As we would travel a lot, and he was saying, I never got the joy when I was performing like I got watching him. Or when I see people living out their dreams on stage. That's something that I love. I love that. You know what I'm saying? I just want to keep doing that. I'm a rarity in that, just wanting to give back. Mm-hmm. So I think that'll be essential for any position. And I'm willing to learn consistently and persistently to move to the next level. I'm never complacent. Right. And I'm always a person that wants to learn new knowledge and regenerate my knowledge. I'm not stuck in 06. You see what I'm saying? Like y'all asked me, I was listening to NLE Chopper, I listen to Polo G. These people are younger than me, but I love the expression. I love where they coming from. I think this is one of the best times in music because you have the ability, like Lil Nas X, period. Like that in itself, like this rap country blend record, like you have the opportunity to do that.
Or the project full of rock to rap.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
I love the expression because those things essentially make us better people when we can be ourselves. We don't all just listen to fucking rap all day. Some of y'all got some Avril Lavigne around this bitch. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying now we can embrace it.
Yeah, for sure. I've always embraced it. But so the regional promotions manager for Columbia Records. Yeah. What are some of your goals like for yourself personally? I know that's where you are now. You've been in marketing, you've been in promotions, you've been in artist relations, touring, management, all that. But what is Moses' goal for himself, moving forward and continuing to sustain yourself in the business?
I want to continue to learn this promotions game because I'm around a great team of people who've been doing it way longer than me.
What does the regional promotions manager have to do? Like, what
essentially, I'm responsible for the Southeast region, which consists of Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. Yeah. That's Southeast region or whatever. But essentially, I have to convince the program directors in these markets to play the record from the base, and also to get the people in these markets to know about the record.
How many records are you working?
I think right now I got 5 records. I think 5 that we're actively working, but I think we got like 11 records total. That's like in the shoot that's coming. It depends. It depends. If it performs well in the first few weeks, then we keep going. If not, then we go into a mode where we kind of try to help it go. If not, we just move on to the next record. We got a lot of records, and we got a lot of competition in the sense that these independent people got records too, and they charting and they making an impact. So, it's a lot of hard work. So just really getting people to know about the record, building up their awareness. If we got to do a listening party, meet and greet, giveaway, flyaway, this, that, and the third, to get you to know about this artist, this, that artist, that's what we got to do. So it's basically just pumping it up. If it's some marketing where you at a Hawks game and you see this, or I got somebody riding around playing the music, all of that goes into the promotions to getting you to know what's happening.
Absolutely. Now, you have a family.
For sure.
Children.
Yes.
How are you able to balance hanging out with your family and work, or do you balance?
I balance.
You balance. How? Because it seems, like I said earlier, it's 24/7. Like it's a time-consuming business, but
you have to make the time. Though. Certain things are essential. You know what I mean? If I gotta go out of town, I gotta go out of town. Like I was at BET, I gotta do that. Thankfully, a lot of things are close. I can drive. I don't have to be there for weeks. You know what I'm saying? But I might have to be there for 2 days or whatever. My kids are in school, so that kind of cuts down some of the time too, where they don't feel the absence. And making the time impactful when I am there. So my daughter's into fashion. She likes to sit down and she uses a little iPad to make different things. Sitting down and that could be 20 minutes, but to her it felt like forever. You know what I'm saying? She's happy with that. I really want to be there for an hour, what have you, but I may have to go and do something else. My son, I'm at his flag football games on Saturday. Those type of things feel a major, what would be distant if I wasn't hitting none of that. Now, I have missed birthdays, anniversaries, and surgeries, and deaths, I've missed these things. And they hurt, Well, you got to go to Australia for 11 days, but it's your son's birthday. Or it's his first steps, or, I miss steps. My daughter was born, I ain't see her when she first walked, I've been with an artist, he watched his baby being born on FaceTime.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
this is what we asked for, though. So I don't need no pity party for me.
Yeah.
This is what we asked for. And if I didn't do this, because this is what I always wanted to do. If I didn't do this, I don't think I would be a great mate or dad anyway.
Right.
So by me being happy in my life for real, it allows me to continuously feed my kids instead of being some angry pops walking around like, damn, I wish I'd have did this, that, and the third. Me doing those things and having things set up and really getting a routine helps me to be able to balance it out.
Absolutely. All right. Well.
Yeah.
Well then. My last question though, seriously, is like just if you could tell me, because you work with a lot of different artists, or at least work their records and such, what was one of your favorites to work on that we haven't talked about?
All right.
Or a favorite person to work with?
The most exciting thing I think I did. And I was like, it's funny because I was so frozen, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Cannon. So when I first started, she came to Atlanta, and I was still at the office, just, helping people essentially. And she was like, look, I like how you moving. I need you to come help me. We're going to do this listening party. You're going to help me host it and do, the essential. But she didn't tell me it was T.I., right? So the T.I. versus T.I.P. listening party. Yo, that was like, wait a minute. I thought we was going to it was at, what is the name of it? Street Execs is now? It was over there. Cannon had me straight in T.I. here, everything. I'm like, yo, what's happening? Yo, maybe you walked me into this. She's like, boom, you gonna be here. And I was just frozen. I didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? I didn't know where to go, where to sit. She's like, yo, wake up. You gotta, get some drinks and pass them around. So I was so green. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the reason why it was such a good thing for me is because I learned from that even more about initiative. You know what I mean? You see people thirsty, it's hot in this bitch. Oh, get some drinks. Or, I see T.I. right there. Let me ask. I see these people around and let me do this, that, and the third. So it was like my very first project that I had anything to do with, but it was so big because at the time T.I. was the biggest fucking artist on Atlantic Records.
Right.
So she got me in here with him. I'm trying not to mess up and things like that, but it showed me how this game worked. You don't know they throw you in the fire, and if you gonna make it, you gotta make it in the fire. Ain't nobody got this A, B, C step shit for you to do. It's like boom,
in there.
and it taught me right then, be ready for anything. Be ready to go to fucking Napa from, at 2:00, but the flight leave in 2 hours. Get it together. That taught me a lot. You know.
That's what's up. I'm very, very proud of the success you received so far, and I wish you much more. Yeah, absolutely. Much more success with the campaigns, with the working the records, and, with the future for Moses.
Yeah, but I want to wish you more success as well. You've been a beacon of life for young ladies to know that they can sit here and be just as respected on this platform as opposed to just being some face they set next to people to hear them talk. So I think you do a great job in what you do as well, and I want to see you continue to do that.
Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you, dog.
A shout out to everybody in Preston Park, Loden Homes, 95th Street, south side of Chicago. You know how I go.
I love Chicago folks. Thank you. And tell them where they can find you. They can hit you up if they do need some consultations.
Yeah, hit me up, man. Reach out to me. I'm on your social media platforms. My name is Mr. Davis. That's all one word, MyNameIsMrDavis. That's on Twitter and Instagram. So that's where you can reach out to me. So, let's chop it up, man. Let's make some history together, yeah.
Absolutely. And as always, thank y'all for tuning into the podcast. You can find this podcast on social media at IDM Podcast, as well as myself at Sammy Approved. Thank you, Moses.
Thank you.
Peace.
Sonically superior.